got this going now. So to give a starting, this is about a video that Extra Credits did that was entitled "Stop Normalizing Nazis." Now, you think at first, like, oh, of course you think Nazis would be bad. So it's like, what's the point of the video? But Dan was unfamiliar with Extra Credits, so there are a lot of people.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh. No, I was apologizing for not knowing the subject matter. That's all right.
Don't worry, we all blame you.
I'm sure, because Pad's not here. I'm the only one left.
That's true. Anyway, obviously, you know, everyone's not gonna know him, but there was a time where a lot of people talked about Extra Credit, like back in the old. We're talking about the early days of YouTube, like seriously, like I'd have to look way back. I mean, that one video I showed you was from 2012. And to be fair, the very first Extra Credits video was on the original speaker's own personal channel, which I don't know if those videos are on the official Extra Credits channel. I'm not sure. So getting a proper timing on that could be, let's see, on the playlist, it's January 25th, 2012, but I feel like, here, it actually lists in the description. The original date for the video was July 28th on 2010, back on his original channel. So, pretty old channel. Has over 400 videos in that. I would watch the early stuff, very good stuff, but the original speaker has left, people have changed, you know, the great age of social justice has greatly affected people of popularity, and not to get into too many details, but there definitely was a time period where they shifted what they said and started doing. But I guess I should start rambling about them and my nostalgic for the old times and just get with the terrible real future we live in now.
Yeah, come on, old man. You're getting old.
It's not my fault that there was a time where things were better than that. Okay, so the new speaker, I think his name's Jack. I don't remember. I don't even know how many videos he's at. Like, I don't even remember the last fucking Extra Credits video I've watched. I mean, I am unsubscribing from this. This is, like, honestly, I have not watched this shit at all in ages anyway.
But we know subscriptions don't mean anything anymore.
Being a subscriber don't really mean much anymore. It's just about the people you get to watch you is what really matters in YouTube's grand thing. But I haven't watched anything they've done in ages, because honestly the last few videos I watched were just so fucking terrible. They were so fucking terrible and hand-fisted with shit. And I honestly don't remember the last fucking video I seriously watched. I really don't. I've always scrolled into 11 months ago, and I don't see a single thing I even remember fucking watching. So, but yeah, I haven't watched them in a long time because I just haven't really trusted their opinions on anything ever since they've lost their minds. And he'll unsubscribe, like I said, because I don't give a shit. This is the final insanity to me. The last few, there's a few videos I watched that was stupid, but so this new speaker guy, like, he seems to have no fucking reality of how game mechanics work at all. So his argument starting the video is that you've had no choice in being a Nazi in, like, multiplayer games and shit, and feels that you would become sympathetic towards Nazi either. Like, okay, how many, like, if we're just strictly talking about multiplayer games, how many multiplayer World War II games do teach you anything about being a Nazi in the first place anyway? Like,
I don't know how many Call of Duties are there.
but I mean, if we're just talking about the multiplayer,
Right.
well, there's generally
It,
no fucking story at all in it. How do you even learn about being a Nazi? Like, how does this work exactly? How do you learn to be a Nazi from multiplayer in Call of Duty games? How does that work?
you lose the match, just like the Nazis did.
Oh, yeah, you learned how to be a Nazi. You're a loser. Fantastic. So that means that's
Right.
the
There
community
you go,
manager
see?
then, right? Okay, but I've been talking about rambling here. You want to throw in some 2 cents there for the beginning part?
Well, I really don't think that. I mean, as far as the channel themselves, like you said, I haven't really been familiar with them. I haven't been a long time watcher, but seeing, you know, the little bit of where they came from, and then watching this last video, it's a complete 180. First of all, to go from, you know, we need to protect our industry's right to free speech to, oh, if you play this, you're a Nazi.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, I don't know if it's the times or, like you said, the speaker who has left and now they've got a
He
new
was still
voice,
with
a
them
new
when they
whatever.
started changing deals. It happened during Gamergate and the election type stuff when a lot of that happened. And this guy, I think,
Yeah.
at a minimum, might have been doing this for like a year.
Well, I think it boils down to a couple things. Like you said, number one, what does it teach you if you're, oh, you're a Nazi? When you put the controller down, you're not going to run to the tattoo parlor and get a swastika tattooed on your forehead. You're not going to start making a list of people you want to disappear. It's a game. You know, people have gone at this from different angles before, as far as, oh, games are violent, so they're causing school shootings. Games are sexual, so they're doing
just a cry of video games are violent, they cause violence. It's just a different form of that, like how Anita Sarkeesian is just a female Jack Thompson.
My biggest, and see, I don't play Call of Duty that much. I used to play with a group of guys, but they all sold their PlayStations and now they play on the Xbone, but that's neither here nor there. The biggest thing that strikes me against this whole argument, if we are being desensitized towards Nazi ideology, then please explain to me why the biggest, and the video did say it's not just Nazis, it's also terrorists for the modern games. So please explain to me why the second level in Modern Warfare is the most discussed and controversial level in a Call of Duty ever.
Is that the airplane?
And I don't for it's yeah, it's the airport. I think it's an airport. Like I said, I don't play Call of Duty, but you join up with these terrorist people, and as the mission starts, you're supposed to do, I don't know, X, Y, and Z or whatever. But the group of terrorists that you're with say, no, we're going to gun down all these innocent civilians, and the game will not move forward until you do it.
Actually, that's slightly wrong if I remember correctly, too, actually. If you don't... If I remember the scene, I mean, I could be wrong, too. But I think you're wrong. I'm not trying to be the party pooper here, but if I remember correctly,
Well, no, I've never played it, so I could
if
be.
I remember correctly, your character was an American agent. I don't know if he was FBI or undercover or something, but he's somebody who's infiltrated the terrorists, if I remember correctly. And you, as the player, have the choice to either assist in gunning down or you could just watch. But you can't stop it. Whether you choose to gun down the civilians to keep you cover, or whether you just decide not to do anything and the story progresses anyway. But you cannot stop the shooting, if I remember.
I think you might be right. But yeah, either way, it's going to happen. You can't
Yeah.
prevent it. But if we were, if we, and I say we as a gaming culture, are being desensitized to this sort of thing, why would something like that cause outcry? Why would it cause an uproar? Why would it be such an emotional, controversial thing? If we've been so desensitized to this, to the idea of terrorists and Nazis,
See, honestly, when it comes to like
all
having,
you're doing is pressing a button.
when it comes to having an emotional reaction to something, I think what really causes that is like Call of Duty games don't normally have very interesting or caring stories to them. And then when you play something like Neo Automata, something with a lot of emotion to it, you know, it just... I'd say the only Call of Duty game I ever thought was pretty interesting, and, you know, I use that very lightly, but that I had a, like, interest, was probably the first Modern Warfare. Like, one of my favorites is also Call of Duty 3, but that's not because it was an interesting story. I just thought it was okay, like, play of events, but not like a story. But if we're just talking about the story, I'd say probably Modern Warfare I thought was a okay story, but, you know, it's not something I, at the end of the day, sit down and cry in my bed and be like, I mean, like, I told you, and, we're not going to talk about the spoiler, but, you know, I told you how in Danganronpa V3 the first case was so emotional to me. I literally lost my mind and, like, fucking was like a mixture of crying, feeling bad, and confused, even though I had to accept the truth of what was revealed in that case.
Right. And that is another thing that I kind of wanted to bring up, not to be revealing any spoilers, but the difference is in the Call of Duty games and say like the Danganronpa games, the video specifically pointed out that you're playing as the Nazis and that's bad. You're playing as the Nazis, so that makes you a Nazi. Well, it's emotionally involving, and that's what games like Danganronpa do. Danganronpa, the 999 series, a lot of, I won't say all because there are some pretty crappy ones, but a lot of visual novels are there for the emotional pull, the emotional weight that the story has on you. Is it a game? Yes, I will sit here and I will argue very strongly that a visual novel is a game. In fact, I think some visual novels are better games than most of the AAA titles out there today, but that's a point for another video. What I want to focus on is the emotional weight that they carry. Those games, they make you invested in the characters.
Exactly.
They get you to feel something.
You're more likely to remember all those characters, the quirks, the personalities, their meaning. How like I can't remember any fucking Call of Duty character's name at all. Like literally none.
Right.
Probably the only one that I can
And
think
even
of that comes to mind is probably the sniper from Modern Warfare. I don't even know his fucking name.
Well, even Evie, you're talking about the single player, but the point of the video was saying that
Yeah, it's about multiplayer.
that playing as a Nazi. So they're strictly focusing on the multiplayer. You're not going to give your multiplayer character backstory. You're not going to give them an emotional.
That easily. I wouldn't say it's impossible,
Yeah,
but not easily.
Right. all you are, your multiplayer character is just there to shoot the other team. And well, the video goes on to say we should just dip them in random colors and make it red versus blue. Well, yeah, and I mean, I'm sure that was a jab at Halo, but Halo had or has, I don't know, heck, the last Halo game I played was probably Halo 2 or 3. But Halo used to have a fun multiplayer. I don't know if it still does or not. But it wasn't the point of red versus blue. The Nazis or the Allies in a Call of Duty game have about as much significance as red versus blue. It's not... They don't make you recite the Nazi creed before each match in a Call of Duty multiplayer game. There's no investment, there's no emotion, and that's what I was trying to get at with the visual novels, is they make you care about the characters. Whether you play as a good guy or a bad guy, you care about the characters. Nobody cares what team they're on in a Call of Duty multiplayer game.
To be fair, most people don't.
You...
Obviously, someone cares if they're bitching about it.
This is true. But the only reason I've ever cared what team I was on in a Call of Duty type multiplayer game is if I'm trying to play a game with my friends and just random matchmaking throws them on the other team. Then I care. I don't care whose team we get, but if it splits us up, then I care.
The weird implications of all this is he's obviously looking at this at a view of an American, which is obviously very hindsight to the bigger picture of what he's bitching about. So, let me, open a new can of worms here. So, Persona 5 came out in several other countries, and I believe it was Korea that did this, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But if I remember correctly, I do know a country did this, but I don't remember 100% if it was Korea or not. But, okay, so in this country...
I don't live in Korea, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay, so Ryuji's shoes have the Japanese symbol of the rising sun, the red dot in the middle of a white landscape thing that it's on his shoes. And like I said, I don't remember if it was Korea or whatever country. I just know in a country, the Japanese flag is highly offensive to them because they hold old grudges from wars and shit. I'm pretty sure it was Korea.
Right.
So they removed them from Persona 5. They in that country's version. They took the symbol off Ryuji's shoes and that. So, if we take a World War II game or just something else based between that country and Japan, that would mean that, the symbolism of Japan is offensive to him, so we need to move the Japanese, how deep, in a way, you get what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah, well, I mean, they have done that before. There have been, the Duke Nukem games that have taken the Nazi symbols out.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if we go by his video, so let's say there's a video game between Japan and Korea. So Japan takes the spot of the Nazis from the Korean point of view. So now you're saying you're sympathizing with Japanese, or if you take it another way, a lot of countries view America as a gun-ho, militaristic country, right? That's a stereotype thing of America. What if there was a game like that, and in another country, America was viewed as the bad guys?
I think they call that game Redneck Rampage.
But that's my point is, so you would be giving the Nazi world to the American, you get what I'm saying? It's like, this is all in the eye of the beholder. It can be completely changed, and you can argue.
And not only that.
Go ahead.
But the whole thing, as far as it's concerned, is where's the ultimate goal? Where is this leading?
feelings, Dan.
And
Because people can't
well, yeah.
people can't be like, oh, you know, I might not be interested in this. I just won't buy it and will move on and buy something I am interested. It's people who can't get
But
over the fact something exists that they dislike.
so, but when you look at the end goal, what is the end goal? To silence something that you don't like. But if you like the first video, the older video that you sent me about, you know, stand up for your medium. You're talking out of both sides of your face. First, you're saying we need to stand up for our right to be considered as art and free speech and yada yada. And then you're saying these guys don't agree with me, so they need to sit down and shut up, and we need to do something about them. Well, how long is it going to be until someone, like you said, it's all perspective. Someone's going to come along and tell you to sit down and shut up, and then, oh, how horrible will that be? Where's the end goal? What are you hoping to get to? Because you know, if somebody caves and they say, okay, Nazis are going to be removed from every video game reference, from every cultural everything. No symbols,
I
no
don't mean to
mentions.
interrupt you, but it just dawned on me the irony. Like, you know, in Germany for a long time, that Nazism shit had been banned for a long time in Germany, right? And then they slowly started laying like comedy and then history, and just recently they started laying video games, and the people who make the Wolfenstein games, people were telling them to put the new one in uncensored. They've always censored those, and they had always made a censored version, but because so many people requested them to try it, they tried it, and they allowed it. So it's going to have a censored and uncensored version in overseas territories in Germany. So that's weird, but it's like good. Even Germany is being like, okay, you know, this is being a little childish here. Now we're going the way of Germany. It's like, no, bad at all. Like, did you know in Germany, like, I remember when Dead Rising came out and it was illegal. If you possessed it, it is a crime. It's like ridiculous.
I don't remember Hitler in Dead Rising.
No, but I mean, it was banned for violence. It wasn't because of Nazis. But the point was it was banned, and possessing it meant it was illegal. You could get in trouble for possessing it. It was way harsh.
Wow.
I was like, wow, that's kind of shitty. But no, it's not related to the Nazi thing. Just meant as a, you know, it was a crime to just possess it. That became lenient until
I think it. And I mean, I grew up when I was in, I can't remember, 10th or 12th grade, somewhere at the end of my high school career. We had this German exchange student in our class for a couple years, and they were even more strict on Nazi anything than America was. I mean, not as far as like seeing it or hearing about it, but like their opinion, you know, you'd think, well, they're Germany, they have to, you know, they have to know what happened, and they have, you know, how do they feel about it? Because it was their guy, it was their war, you know, and they're even more gung-ho about it than the rest of the world who fought against them. And like you said, to hear that they're okay and they're starting to come back with it, that's kind of cool for freedom of speech standpoint.
See, it's good,
but
because you know, see when they let you do it for comedy, to make fun of them, historical storylines and stuff. Now, obviously, it is illegal to express being a Nazi, like. To be like, you know, if you march down the roads trying to like, come on everyone, we're starting the Nazi party. It's like you will be immediately arrested in Germany.
Right.
I'm just trying to make that
and that
clear.
goes back to what I was. Well, yeah, but that goes back to what I was saying before. Is what is your end goal? Because if the end goal of these video games is to turn people into Nazis and spread propaganda, they're doing a really bad job.
That's
because no one puts down. No one goes out, plays Call of Duty, and immediately shaves their head. But if their intent is to make a video game that's fun and engaging, obviously they're doing a great job. I don't personally play a lot of Call of Duty, but it's like one of the most popular shooter franchises
More like
out there.
was. I think
So
Fortnite kind of has been dominating everything right now.
no, Fortnite is not a shooter. Fortnite is a battle royale.
Well,
But anyway,
I mean, it's shooting. It's
yeah.
not first person, and I mean how it goes about it.
So
but
you heard it here. Atticus wants us to put Nazis in
No.
Fortnite. You heard it here, folks.
no, I'm just saying when it
But my
comes
point
to
is, it's
things
not-
with guns, I'm just saying Fortnite's just been hammering everything.
Yeah, but my point is that it's not. The point of Call of Duty is not to go out and recruit people. It's to get people a fun time
Here's
playing
the
a video
simple
game.
version. It's a fucking
So-
game.
Yeah, to that point, you really could paint the characters as this is the red team and this is the blue team, and it wouldn't make
And
a
you
difference.
see, that
The point is not what
that
you
is
call.
what they're actually trying. They're trying to say that because people like us are viewing it that way, that we're not taking the fact that, say, if we were playing a game, we matched as Nazis, we get thrown in the Nazi side, that we're not taking it serious that we're being Nazis or something. It's like,
Because it's not serious. It has no
Yeah, it's a video game.
ramifications on anything.
I mean, yeah, the Nazis were terrible people. They killed tons of fucking people. They are probably all being shoved pineapples up their ass. If anyone knows that reference.
Yes, I know that reference.
But I'm sure they're all burning in the pits of hell, whatever religious equivalent of it you may believe in. But it's just, it's a video game. It's not about the Nazis. Even if you were playing a story where you are a Nazi and whether you're doing good or bad things, it's a video game and it's about a character in a story in a setting. It's not about you being recruited as a fucking Nazi. Like, look, when a game literally is made to recruit you as a Nazi, feel free to PM me. I mean, I'm pretty sure it will immediately be shot down and fucking people calling it propaganda garbage.
And I think that like we had spoke before about that game Hatred, I think that illustrates the point perfectly.
Yeah.
Everybody got so worked up about that game and how evil it was and how horrible it was, and oh my goodness, you're killing, cold
see,
blood and innocent people
I
and
can
all this
literally
stuff.
talk about Hatred because I own
Stay
it.
tuned, folks. I'm going to finish
Okay,
the sentence
okay.
somehow in this video. Go ahead. No, I'm just messing with you.
I'm just saying, I own I don't know, I know you knew I owned it, but I don't know if you was aware I had played fully through it, so I literally know all the content that is in Hatred and what you do. So if you want to ask anything about it, feel free to.
No, honestly, I had heard that it wasn't even a good game.
It's not necessarily plays like a twin shooter, like it looks like a twin shooter, but doesn't really play like a twin shooter, but I'd say it's average at most. I mean, I wouldn't say it's terrible. It functioned, it worked, it had a few interesting pieces, like the look of it, and that looks all white. It's an interesting aesthetic to be black and white and have blood be the only thing of color. But I mean, it's like I said to you.
Mad World did that too. Mad World did that too. It wasn't nearly as controversial.
No, because it was all fiction. I played about half of that.
So was Hatred.
Yeah, but Hatred was in a realistic setting. Mad World takes place in a weird, fucking futuristic world where you're trying to murder people and play in a weird, sadistic game of murdering people at the same time.
You want to see realistic setting? Play GTA 5.
Yeah, that's realistic too. I'm just saying, it starts off in a town and that, it just.
Actually, that's a good point. Can you make a Nazi in GTA 5? Can you get a a shirt with Nazi propaganda
I
on it?
highly doubt it.
I don't know.
I would give it a 0.01% odds. I would really doubt it. Because somebody would fucking lose their
I
mind.
don't know. Probably, but you never know. People are creative
yeah,
with those
but
character models.
you know, bringing up hatred though, I remember that was the last really stupid video I recall watching. I'm sure I watched a few videos after it, but their video on hatred was I showed you the intro of what was it titled? To stand up for your medium or whatever the hell they titled it. I can't remember its old video. I'd have to dig it up again. But I wanted you to see the opening there.
That's what it was.
Because it contradicts everything in their hatred video. Like, they basically say if you play it, you're sadistic. You're a Satanist. It's like...
Well, that's what I was saying before. You could say that about any video game.
Pretty much.
Any video game where you kill or shoot people, you could be labeled as evil or hateful or sadistic or whatever. Going back to GTA 5. Now, personally, I think the GTA games have gotten way crazy and over the top. I like the older GTA games, and GTA 5 is okay online, but I haven't played through I probably haven't even played the first 5 missions of GTA 5. I've just got it for the online to play with my friends. But I do know that was another controversial game.
Yeah.
Where you have a torture scene where you literally have a guy tied to a chair and you torture him. I don't remember that happen. I mean, I remember the backlash from it, but I don't remember anybody actually going out and doing it. I don't remember the bunch of copycats that were all over the place.
Of course, is the classic thing. Well, violence has been going down more and more on that. Though I would be kind of interested in seeing after the election charts of that kind of study. I don't know. I'm just kind of wondering whether all the riots affect such. Because before that, there wasn't so many insane riots for shit. But not trying to get political though. But
no, of course not.
But this is going on YouTube, so it's not like it's on Twitch, so you don't have to worry about that. I just meant that it's not the main driving topic here, so I'm not trying to drive into a political topic in it. But
well, look at what was the other game, GTA style game that was Mafia 3. That was very racially motivated.
I have not played any of the Mafia games. I can't talk about them.
I haven't. I've played Mafia 3 a little bit because it was a PlayStation Plus game. And it's a good GTA clone game, but the missions seem, they get very stale after a while. But that's a gameplay mechanic. The whole story is you're a black guy in a neighborhood where segregation is very much alive, and if you go into the quote-unquote uppity neighborhoods that's mostly white people, if you even think about committing a crime, or some places you don't even have to commit a crime, like loitering will get the cops on you and they'll follow you waiting for you to do something wrong. But if you go into the lower class black neighborhoods and commit a crime, the police radio will literally say, hey, some black dude killed 3 people at the corner of 1st and 2nd Avenue. You might check it out if you have a minute. They don't even care. It's just, oh, well, this crime happened in a black neighborhood, so who cares?
That's interesting, because I remember all this debate on whether the cops in GTA 5 do that to them. Oh, what was his name? I can't remember the names.
Lamar.
I forgot all of the names. Ah.
I'm not sure.
The African American kid is younger than the other two, but there was for several months a lot of people doing tests to see whether the police would actually treat him differently or not. and people were actually having a
Right.
cow. So that's kind of interesting that that game legitimately does it.
Yeah, and I don't remember. I mean, I remember someone saying something about it, but it was just, oh yeah, this
I've
happens.
never heard
There
of
was
it
no
at all
outcry.
for Mafia, so that's also ironically weird considering multiple people fucking made a hissy fit over it on GTA 5 when there wasn't even
Yep.
any real 100% evidence of it. Few videos had interesting results, while others like, "Hello, I'm Lower Command Crime here." So it's like there were
I
videos that both support and don't support been made essentially. So
I tested it. You know, I went to the same spot as both characters just to say, hey, if I kill the same amount of people with the
in
same
GTA
weapon in the same
5,
area, yeah,
really, what was
you know what's
what
gonna
was your
happen.
results?
And guess what? Cops came. And if I did it as the white guy, cops came. If I did it as the black guy, cops came.
No, see the studies that they try,
It's
because obviously when you commit actual like stuff, that's more likely. They tried to do like minor things like bumping into them and stuff.
right. Yeah, I've seen those
Yeah.
videos too.
Because obviously, you
But
know, you
I just
blow up a
figured,
bunch of
you know,
cars, yeah, they'll gonna come regardless.
yeah.
But anyway, I think we've dwelled way too much time on the beginning. We haven't even got into how terrible the ideas this guy at a mechanic level recommends for this. So,
Well, you can edit out the boring parts.
me edit, good lord.
I'll finish all of my comments, and then you can edit them to the end of my
Me
statements.
editing, that's funny.
Uh-oh, he's turning into
shut up.
DSP.
I have a full-time job, DSP doesn't.
What do you mean he doesn't? He has a
That's
full-time
not
job.
a
He is a
normal
content
full-time.
creator.
It's a job. I'm not going to be one of those people saying it's not a job, but it's not a stable job at all. I mean, just look at him. He's literally spent years begging for money and bitching about taxes. Does that look like a stable job to you? No. Thank you. Anyway. But, anyway, so he goes on trying to explain ways to de-encourage you to be a Nazi. Now, some games let you choose what side and some don't. Now, he obviously recommends to let you choose a side. Then, I've seen a few different comments take the queuing segment a different way. But either way you take it, it really just fucks up the game. So, you either can take it as recommending to add a queue time if you select to become a Nazi, thus making it longer to be in a game as a Nazi, or if you make the queue time longer as an ally, making the game still long. It feels like this guy had no, like, when you go to queue for a match, you don't want to sit there waiting. And if your opponents, if it's in favor of adding a timer to picking Nazi, so let's say we're in the allies and we're waiting for a full enemy team, and they're waiting an extra 5 minutes as a punishment for daring to pick Nazis in a player versus player game. So we're sitting on our asses waiting for a timer to go down. And if it's the other way around, where we're being queued a longer timer, it's just delaying everything. It's like, what's the... Like, I'm not seeing what's good about this, no matter what. I mean...
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you... or you know what, I could see... The video didn't make this argument, but I could see somebody saying, well, just pit the Nazis against each other and let them kill each other off.
No, actually, that's kind of interesting they didn't make that.
Yeah, I mean, you got, you got these people who, they don't care what team they're on, and they don't care if they're going to sit in the queue longer, so let them fight each other. but that point wasn't in the
No.
video. But that just goes to show that it doesn't make a difference to people where they
Most
are.
people.
What team they're on is most people. It's not important. It doesn't matter. So of course they're going to pick the whatever team has the shorter wait
But
times.
yeah, and see that's
So-
the thing. If they mess with the queue time for a team, you're either gonna get the people who are offended and want to pick the other team, or you're gonna get a mass majority to be on another team. But one of the two sides are gonna obviously have too many people, and it's going to. And I mean, there's actually been games that have had issues like that, not having enough people, and thus you sit on your ass waiting for enough people to be on one side of something.
Yeah, and that's the issue. Is you still need both sides, whether you want to make one side wait longer or not. You can't have a multiplayer game with one side just standing there doing
make
nothing.
the game better. Like, you see, this is we went from a channel that talked about very interesting subjects of game design and shit to this fucking video. Like this video, like out of all the retarded videos they've had in the newer age, like, and to be fair, I haven't watched them. So there might be other really stupid shit I haven't seen in any of these videos in quite a while. But it's like, how do you go from a channel that was founded on talking about making games better and the design and everything to literally going against that? Like, how is this helping the game? It makes it longer, it makes the wait time longer, it wastes everyone's time. It would probably kill a fucking game if this really existed in a game. It would probably kill the fucking game. Because you don't have an online base playing it, then the game dies.
To them, it is making the game better, and that's what they're trying to do, in their opinion. But the problem is their opinion
It makes the
crap.
fifis feel better. I'm legitimately talking about the game in the mechanics sense, not the little fifis.
Right, but that's all they have to go off of.
I mean, like, I just don't, like, what the fuck is this guy trying to recommend here? Like, I don't, it's just so fucking stupid. Like, let's make the queue time. How would they, like, make the queue time for one team fucking longer just because your team represents evil people? Like, that is so, like, imagine if Overwatch did something like that. Like, being Junkrat, I'm trying to remember the hackle chick, the big fat dude, Woodhog, Junkrat, Samba, Weeple. Trying to remember all the evil characters, damn it. You know, what if they all had longer queue times? Like, can you imagine how destroyed? Like, it's like, we need Roadhog! The timer was, it's like 2-minute timer to swap! We need Roadhog! It's been 30-second wait time to change! Fuck it, be Torbjorn! No, Torbjorn sucks! It was instantaneous! Like, that would actually be really weird. But, you know, you could maybe make some weird, funny, you know the game mode where they do weird shit? Like, where they increase damage output and shit. You know, they just do weird stuff.
What's up, honey? I don't know, sweetie. What's up? Well, go to bed, and when I find her, I will tell her. Go to bed, and when I find her, I will tell her.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, they're called children.
But, yeah, you know, it might actually be, like, a weird idea if they did, like, a mode where all the tanks had 2-minute change cooldown or something. That'd actually be a funny, weird thing to do, but in a normal sense thing, in the way they're doing it, like, pick villains or something like that. It's like that would fundamentally break the game at a basic level. As a throwaway idea in the mode where they do really weird shit that could be like funny, weird to do like a category like tanks or something now. Quick.
Well, I think it goes back to gameplay. It would be funny, but it wouldn't be practical.
Yeah, that's what
and
I'm saying. In the normal mode, it wouldn't
game.
work at all, no matter how you did it. I just meant that in the weird daily thing where they just have very bizarre idea shit would be interesting for a category, not a good guy villain thing. But that's dwelling. But the point is, like, if you made all the evil characters have a cooldown to change over to them, like it would just break. Like nobody would use them. Let's be realistic. Unless somebody really had the foresight to know the change ahead of time, nobody would probably pick any of the villain characters in Overwatch because it's like, oh yeah, I get to wait 2 minutes because they're evil.
More importantly, aside from the story that is almost non-existent, who really cares what characters are evil and what characters are good? I couldn't even tell you half the evil characters, except for like Junkrat because he's crazy, and you know, it doesn't make a difference. They're not, you know, you can have evil characters and good characters on the same team for Overwatch.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So that's even less of an argument.
I just was trying to use the logic of his recommendation of game design in another game, like.
Yes. Yeah, I just mean, like, for that game it makes even less sense because teams are randomized. It doesn't matter, you can pick anyone. It's not, oh, you're on the allies team, you have to pick
that he
the
wanted.
good character.
See, you could choose to be good or evil. You know, it has his choice system in it. You know, that's what it said.
Yeah, but in doing
nobody
that,
should be forced to be a Nazi.
taken away any morality.
You know, even though you paid for the game, a World War II game setting, and should probably assume that you may either kill or you could be on both sides, one side, like, you know, that's what you either look at the back of the box or fucking look it up or something, you know? If you want to get, like, there's different games where you play one side, both sides. If it's multiplayer, it's obviously just both sides for just shooting each other. Single player could be anything from either side. I mean, to be fair, most stories in the World War II very rarely have you play as a Nazi, but there are occasions. Like, a game I wanted to talk about on the 360, Days Gone. No, what was it again? Shit. Was it Days Gone?
It's not Days Gone.
Days Gone is that zombie game. What the... Damn it, what was it again? I can't remember. Not Days... Darkest of Days, that's what it was. Fuck. Excuse me for being a fucking idiot. Darkest of Days. Darkest of Days is, just to give a quick synopsis, you're a guy who gets abducted by people in the future because you went missing in action during Custard's last stand, and you get asked to help maintain time and shit, so you join these people that try to stop anomalies and shit that fuck with time, and then for some reason this other group of people show up and they start fucking with time, and it goes from World War II to Civil War, and you know, it just goes to different incidents of actual history, and you have to actually play both sides. You're trying to keep time accurate, so there will be times where you're forced to be the bad guys to actually make the good guys lose because they were supposed to lose to keep time how it was. And the people you going against are fucking with it. Like, I'm pretty sure it was during the Civil War setting, but they give the Americans submachine guns. Just one, not all of them. They gave one guy 2 Uzis, and you have to go against him with a fucking powder keg stick gun rifle. It's fucking... He's running around, it's like, I am the chosen one by God, and shit, running around thinking he has, like, witchcraft and shit. And you gotta kill them, because they were supposed to lose that battle to keep history going and that. Now, if you went by the logic, this kind of story would never be able to be made, because you would have to play the bad guys occasionally. They would probably be like, oh no, you should change history, you know. It couldn't possibly... You know, you can argue that certain incidents may have a better outcome, but you won't know that. You don't know, like, what if... Let's say the one battle that the Nazis probably needed to win during it, let's say you fucked and changed it, and somehow it fucked up the whole time industry thing you were in. And so none of that existed, and other bad things came of it. So you can't fix it now, because you don't exist anymore. You know, you don't know what can happen. You know, you could argue certain incidents could be changed for the better, but you don't know. And they could ultimately destroy everything and be capable of being able to fix anything.
Right.
Dancing, they're like, oh my goodness, what did my ears just get fucking a stick into them?
Well, I think you've kind of crossed over into the next point of the video, where he talks about you can't use historical accuracy.
Oh yes, that indeed. This game will, like, I remember there's like this crazy part, if I remember quickly, it's during World War II and you're American, and you were supposed to defeat the Nazis in this one battle, but for some reason there's like 7 times as many Nazis as there was supposed to, and the Americans are getting their fucking asses punched in, and the agency, in one of the few times it gives you a weapon that you shouldn't be using in a timeline, gives you this fucking bazooka that can shoot like 12 rockets at a fucking time and shit. It's like, go crazy. There was way too many from fucking Mortal everything. It's like, personally, his argument of trying to be historically accurate, it sounds more like it's just a cheap attempt to make something to defend their point, like a scapegoat. It's a cheap scapegoat. Well, the whole video
sounds like a cheap attempt. Yeah, to say that, well, you can't use, you know, these things that you're trying to claim as historical accuracies, because as soon as you introduce these other aspects, it's not historical anymore. To actually be historical, you'd actually have to go to the locations that these battles took place, get the layout of the land, find exact replicas of guns and how they functioned and how they, you know,
that people can make those stories to a certain degree historically accurate and decide, like the game I'm talking about. It takes historical moments and battles and shit, and I'm sure there's things that aren't accurate as shit about them, I'm sure. But, I mean, they take bits to use and make a fictional time travel story. I'm sure the intent wasn't to be as 100% accurate to history, because it's fucking also fiction. Or when you get games like, say, shit, I can't. It's another 360 game. This is a weird game. It was published by Atlas. I can't, for the love of humanity, remember what it was called, but it's it's really fucking hard too. But it takes place during World War II, and you play as like a teenager guy, and you find out Adolf Hitler has an undead vampire military force that's under his actual military, and you find out the Allies have a werewolf unit that combating them, and you join them, and you're just.
Sounds like Wolfenstein.
You're fighting fucking the undead Nazis and shit. It's fucking crazy weird. I'm pretty sure their intent was to be as 100% historically accurate as possible, not use the setting to fucking do whatever the fuck they want. Like.
But that game's okay because it sounds like you're fighting against Nazis.
Yeah, you're not being joining a Nazi.
The Nazis.
But what I'm saying is,
nothing wrong with that game.
You got three ways you could do this. You can make a completely fictional game that has no basis in reality. You can make a game that uses a setting in reality, history, or some event, and use it as a basis to make a fictional story that never really happened. Or 3, you can make a very historically accurate story game that is very close and follows the exact events of what the fuck happened. I mean, that is the simple your 3 choices. And I can tell you, most people will either go pure fiction or use settings and use that to make a fictional story in.
Yeah, and the question you have to ask yourself, if you want to go, 200% accurate, is it going to be fun at that point? Is it going to be entertaining? Is it going to be worth playing? Yes, you could go balls to the wall accurate and make the map as accurate as possible.
Some instances of that can
conditions,
be fun.
Yeah, it can be, but it depends on how it's done. There are simulation games that are fun, but then there's also games where you just like Crackdown. Now, say what you want about Crackdown 3, but I really enjoyed the original Crackdown game. It was a game that made absolutely no sense. You were a soldier that could jump over buildings, throw cars, Oh, well, the original Crackdown?
Yeah, it was just like, well, I didn't see that coming.
Are you kidding? Dude, I remember when I bought that game, I brought it over to my friend's house and we played it on his 360. As soon as the opening video was over and it gave you control of the agent, I turned to my buddy and I said, I guarantee you this is what's going to happen. That you're going to end up working for the bad guys. The agency is really the bad guys in the whole situation. And damned if that wasn't the end of the video game. I knew it from the first 5 minutes. As soon as I picked up the controller.
I was a naive Japanese only playing little weeb.
I called that game so bad. But yeah, the original game was really, really good. It made no sense. It was not based in reality at all, and it was just good, stupid fun. Now, the second game was okay, whatever. Whether you liked it or not, that's fine. It was more of the same stupidity, but it was that type of insanity. It was just no point, no basis in reality, just blow stuff up, kill stuff, shoot stuff, jump really high. And that can be fun. It doesn't, not everything has to be based in reality and super, super realistic, true to form. So what's the difference whether it's Nazis or some generic military force? There's no difference.
Honestly, I just find all of this so stupid, man. And it's like, we're sitting here.
It's very stupid.
It just... I mean, I find it... I mean, it's literally a scapegoat. He's just bitching about how it's like, oh, this one thing ain't historically accurate, so your whole argument to want to justify its existence because you want it to be set in history. Oh my goodness. It's like,
yeah.
You set time, like, Darkest of Days isn't the greatest first-person shooter at all, especially if you're playing it on a console. The graphics are pretty bad. It chugs because it's trying to simulate the, like, it was ambitious. I mean, like, it has these fields where hundreds of people on 2 different sides are killing each other on a 360. It's going to chug. But, I mean,
yeah,
it was a very ambitious idea, in my opinion. I would assume the PC version runs a lot better. But it's like, the idea of it is really interesting to me. Like, I constantly, like, anyone who's watched my channel in its entirety, I would hope noticed the several times I always like to say Darkest of Days is an interesting first-person story. I'm pretty sure I've at least said maybe 20 times through my channel's lifespan. Because you know, how many first-person shooters would you sit down and say, like, yes, that was a very interesting story, regardless of whether the gameplay was good or bad. This was a brilliantly interesting setting and idea here.
Well, it's like I was saying with that Singularity game. The story was pretty
I'm
good.
not saying there aren't
but the
others. I just mean,
gameplay was very generic.
Can you name, I don't know, 20 first-person shooters that have really awesome stories to you?
Nope.
Point made. Of course, to be fair, that's subjective. I'm a gigantic-ass weeb, so, you know, I'm sure if you were to ask a huge Call of Duty fan, I am sure that would be different. So, I will give that fairness there, but I would safely say that I think a lot of gamers would probably agree that most first-person, especially Western first-person shooters, don't usually have very, very well-beloved storylines.
Probably not. Okay, you can't go into the airport yet.
Wait, you playing Modern Warfare?
No, I'm playing GTA
Okay,
5.
I was gonna be like, the irony here.
I don't have Modern Warfare. Yeah, GTA 5 is still a violent, horrible game. You can't play as a Nazi, but you can play as a cop killer.
You can kill pretty much anyone in it. No, actually, you know, that makes me think, this is completely off topic, but I remember somebody said, like, apparently nobody found it out until one of the devs of the Spider-Man game revealed it. But I think it was, they mentioned on Sundays you won't see Jewish people. I think, whatever the day they don't eat meat or that, or fish or whatever it is. Sorry, I don't.
Saturday, I believe.
Sorry, anyone who's Jewish. I don't know lots of Jewish culture by heart very well, so pardon me for my ignorance. But that there was a day that you won't see Jewish people on the streets or some shit.
Right. And that's cool. I mean, I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but it's cool.
It's an odd little detail. And nothing, I would say, like, earth-shadowing, but, yeah, it just reminded me of that. But, yeah, I just, like, this guy's argument out of, like, just functionality for the game is just, I seriously swear it would just fail. Like, I don't understand how any of this works. It's just literally a weird argument of Fifi's. Like, and, you know, like, I don't remember where in the video it was, talking about people traumatized by terrorists or Nazis and that. Look. I'm sure lots of us had, you know, if you're somebody who's traumatized by, like, terrorists or something, look, I'm not trying to be unsympathetic here towards anyone who's...
Yes, he is.
Look. We've all experienced terrible things, I would imagine. I would think, you know...
My grandfather was overseas fighting the Nazis. I don't appreciate your flippin' attitude.
Wait.
Happy 4th of July, everyone.
About me? What?
Just being stupid, man.
I tried to...
Although my grandfather did actually fight in World War II.
I tried, and I appreciate it. I'm just trying to say, are you saying I was or they are?
No,
what?
you are.
But, I just saying, like, if you're traumatized by, I can't really imagine you walking into the game store and be like, huh, war traumatizes me. Hey, GameStop ploy, I want that Call of Duty game that's clearly about war. Like, I mean...
Dude, look at Superman. You know? Obviously, he's traumatized by being called sir, yet he still goes out in public looking like that.
I just... I don't know.
People go out looking to stir up trouble, which is obviously, I mean, it's fun for some people. It's political for some people. Some people just like to do it for the lulz. And honestly, as far as this video is concerned, if they were just doing it for the lulz, I'd kind of have more respect for them. But this video seems actually seriously concerned about people turning into Nazis.
This is like the whole opening is probably the opening and the recommendation of increasing queue time for picking Nazis, if it's an option to pick, are the two most puzzling things. The video just opens up saying you didn't choose this, you had no choice in this, you're a Nazi. Like, you went to buy the game. You don't look. I've said this before. I know it's controversial to GTA people. I don't like San Andreas. Not because of the mechanics. The mechanical design of San Andreas is really good. I don't like the story. I'm not interested in the story. I don't like thug life.
Which I still think it's. I was gonna say I still think that you should give it a shot.
Maybe I should. I mean, like, I play. You gotta keep in mind, like, I was like what, a mid-to teenager or something when San Andreas came out. I was just almost like exclusively fucking RPGs in my young life. So, I at that time, like, I still even barely played any of the GTA. Like, I played one a lot at my friend's house and shit. And, I might get more into it because, I was a younger person and that. I didn't really like mature stories, but probably the most mature, dark story I ever liked back then was probably Final Fantasy Tactics, and that's about it, probably.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not, thug life or nothing like that. But GTA San Andreas is probably one of the better GTA games.
I know it's one of the well-liked ones. So that's why I said, like, I like the gameplay mechanics, but I hate the story because movie, books, whatever, I don't like stories that are the whole thug life kind of shit. Like, I don't like that stuff. So I never will.
Yeah, but honestly, that's only like the first couple hours, and then it gets into other stuff.
I know the story though. I know who betrays you. I know what happens at the end, and then like I ironically know all that.
I think you can talk about it. It's a game that's
20, 30
years
names
old.
Except for CJ. You act like I know what his fucking posse's name was. I just never
CJ,
he wore that
Smoke.
that bolo hat. That's all I never.
Yeah. But the point, the thing, I mean, if you're talking about cultural stereotypes and ideologies and stuff.
What I'm trying to say, my point is, you don't see me here making videos ranting about how it shouldn't exist because I don't like it. Whether it's political, my fifis, my opinion, whether I dislike the stereotypes, whatever my reasoning for disliking it, which is not what I'm getting into. My point is, you don't see me making videos saying it shouldn't exist because blah 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 blah. I mean, I own it.
Right.
It's not like it doesn't offend me or anything. I just never got into the story of the saying or anything, and that's usually the important thing to keep me interested in the game. If I don't get pulled by the story any, and the mechanics aren't enough to drive me to play it, I usually will shelf it and maybe give it a try some other time.
I think it depends. Like I said, I enjoyed the game. I don't really care about the story because the story gets really stupid. And I mean, nobody really plays a GTA game like that.
Like I said, you
Yes,
got
it has interesting story.
I was exclusively RPGs, and Super Nintendo, especially during the PS1 era, you had very heavy story-driven Japanese RPG. So I was really driven. Like if you ask me now, like, I find it weird for somebody to be purely driven by an RPG story. Like, I've grown to be more appreciative of the mechanics of RPGs, but my younger self was really driven by the stories more than the mechanics. So, like,
Right.
I really got into the stories more than the fact of them being actual RPGs, where it's more turned more around. Well, I mean, I still like the stories, but sometimes I can appreciate a shitty story that has really good mechanics behind it.
So you probably liked Enchanted Arms.
What
No
if I
comment,
did?
huh?
What if I did? You gonna hold it against me? Come on! We'll put down
Maybe.
the streets. Yes, I
It
like
was an
Enchanted
okay
Arms.
game.
Hey, Enchanted Arms story ain't bad. It's just a completely generic JRPG story.
It is a complete but that's my point. It's the story is stupidly generic. Oh, here comes bad guy. We need to stop him. Good guy not strong enough. Good guy need to collect all the Pokemon.
I actually liked the
I
characters in Enchanted Arms. By the way, you do know Enchanted Arms is a FromSoft game, right? Yes, it is.
No, I didn't know that.
It is a FromSoft game.
I tried to play it. The mechanics were really good, but I could not get into the story,
even beat it.
and I could not get invested in the game.
I liked the game. It also did have a few, like, the thing with the dog. Oh, good lord, that was so sad. So sad. Especially if you got the mini comic that came with the game. It just, oh man, it's so sad.
But you can have a game that has good mechanics and a bad story, and you can have a game that has bad story and good mechanics. Both of those games can do poorly.
They can do poorly or oddly succeed.
Right.
In today's gaming world, who the fuck knows what something can happen?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think that as far as this is concerned, it's just somebody pissing into the wind. They don't have enough to worry about in their own life, so they got to worry about people turning into Nazis.
Hey, they got extra 1,000 dislikes.
Asinine.
Within the span that we've been ranting about this.
Yeah, it's just asinine if you ask me.
I loved extra credits back when it started. Like, I legit, like, I know I can't prove it, but if you don't want to believe me, that's fine. But I legit watched the first extra credits back on Dan's fucking channel. Like, I'm subscribed to his channel. Assuming it still exists and he never deleted it.
I had extra credits on my channel?
No, not the speaker. The original speaker's name is Dan Floyd, if I remember correctly. I believe his last name was Floyd.
So he stole my...
I think it was...
He stole my identity to make videos.
Dan Floyd.
That bastard.
Maybe I'm wrong. I could have swore it was Dan Floyd. It was Daniel Floyd. That's what it was. Daniel Floyd.
Okay.
I just looked it up. But, you know, I literally have been a viewer of this fucking channel for practically its entire existence up to after a lot of the political SJW shit started coming around. There were just very, very small trinkles, and as it became more and more, I used to watch like every fucking video every time. Like I said, I scrolled 11 months, and I couldn't see a single video I've ever fucking watched. And you know, here's something scarier. When I was doing that, something came to mind. So a long time ago, at some point, like James started a series called The History Of, where they'll talk about, you know, a war, or country, or just they talk about different historical things. Now you saw that video. Now what would you trust them to explain history to you?
Um, kind of. I think that, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. If you go into it knowing that, hey, this is satirical,
No, we're
then
talking
sure,
about
I'd watch
legit
it.
learning
But
history. We're not talking about jokes or anything. Like, legit teaching you
right,
history.
if you're talking about that, then of course not. But then you have people arguing that, oh, history is subjective because the winners are the ones
But to
who
be
write history.
fair,
Blah blah
it
blah.
can be subjective in certain points of views depending on what particular thing we're talking about. But that's not even the point. Though the point is they don't seem like they can't keep the biases out of anything anymore. It seems like the new guy, the very little I've seen of him, does not seem to know what the fuck he's doing. Now, James, to be fair, James had some knowledgeable things, but he apparently decided to throw it out the window. Like, so it's like, I'm not trying to take a side in Gamergate. Look, I was all full of ethics and everything, okay? I know there were good people and bad people on both sides, and I'm not trying to say what side was right or wrong or anything, but the fact that James threw people who legit were talking about ethics towards him under the fucking bus just made me lose any fucking, like, I remember the video he did at Con just insulting people who wanted ethical shit in journalism and shit, and I know, like, he started some other side series where he would talk about stuff. I would literally watch nothing that he produced at all. But, Daniel's no longer with them, this new guy. And James, keep in mind, James is a guy who is the writer for the series. So, I mean, even the old topics were things that he was involved with. But it's just obviously clear that they can't keep their opinions about. So personally, I would never recommend watching the history thing because I don't think they could be neutral about things. I feel like they would, skew shit in the direction that they would prefer. But that's just me.
But
That's just me. To be fair, I've never watched a single one because I never even subscribed to the channel, obviously, for the history. I subscribed for the interesting discussions about video games.
I think it's important to look at the views of people you don't agree with for a number of reasons. One, for comic relief. Some of those videos, like this one, I mean, it's so bad it's funny.
I do agree.
In all seriousness,
being able to talk to somebody who disagrees with you is important because it shows you can have a debate and challenge your ideas, and you can even better your ideas from it.
You should look at your opponent's viewpoint. One, because that way, how are you ever going to know how to talk to them about it, how to counteract their opinions if you don't know what their opinions are? So I would watch their videos, but I would watch them with knowing that their opinions are going to greatly differ from mine and sometimes even greatly differ from reality. But I would still watch them. And the other aspect of watching those videos is to know where they're coming from and where their mindset is, not always so you can refute them, but also so you could say, well, you do have a point because of what you said here and there. I agree with you, but you're not quite right. I think that you have the right idea, and like you said, you can build off of their opinion. Just because you don't agree with them on everything doesn't mean you have to disagree with
the sad
everything.
Thing is, these days
they
you
can
can't
make
even
some
have a
decent
debate
points.
anymore these days, though.
Oh no, it's all yelling, screaming, and tantrums.
Yeah.
But I still think it's important to at least have some kind of idea of where people on the other side of the spectrum from you politically socially and all that from where they stand.
I can agree with it. Sadly, most people would just fucking block you.
Right.
Okay, I think I actually legit found the last video I actually watched of those. It was ironically another video that got a lot of controversy. Politics in games. Which was basically defending all the stupid, awful shit, journalists make about politics. Resident Evil 7 is Donald Trump's political future and shit. Very important subject matters in the gaming industry, By the way, that is a real article. That was not a fucking joke. That really exists as an article.
Huh.
Yes, I remember it very well. And I comment. That was why I was. Don't you remember when I was live streaming Detroit? I was saying that's what I was talking about when I said wouldn't Detroit actually ironically be a better fit for this guy's article being this is the dark future, for his narrative. Not saying I would agree with him more, but I'm saying because. It had all you could have the riots and shit happen in the game and stuff. You can cause that meltdown to happen in the city. So, I mean, I feel like, ironically, this would have been actually a better case for his stupid argument. I would still disagree with it. I just like, how do you take a zombie game and be like, oh, this is the future here of our political world? Like, it doesn't even have anything to do with fucking... oh, good lord. My brain.
Well, I think anytime the left talks about Trump, you can pretty much you're guaranteed to laugh.
I laugh at any side and also get headaches at any side. It's just a bunch of... It's like 90% man children who can't have a civilized conversation, and then a small percentage that can, but they just get banned and blocked by everyone because they don't want to join in the pitchforking of everyone else.
Right. And I don't agree with everything that Trump says and does. I think the man can be very stupid and egotistical, but I'll tell you right now, I voted for him because I think he was the best candidate.
I think he was the best one that wasn't going to get us all killed.
Exactly. I don't know what's going to happen with this next election, but I can tell you that whether you like him or not, whether you like him politically or socially, whatever your opinions on him are, you have to admit that he's probably the first president who has done almost everything he said he was going to do on the campaign trail.
I'd have to get a list of everything of that. But I would say...
I'm not saying he's done everything.
The thing I think was noteworthy for his presidency was all his things he did with North Korea, I think, was the very noteworthy things of his candidacy.
Yeah. Well, he's, like I said, he's definitely been the most...
He's not dead in North Korea, so active, that's just a miracle on its own.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. I still have to brush up on my Russian for the next election.
I know this is starting to get political with that, but I didn't get to watch the debate thing, but I heard a lot of people liked some Republican woman, and then apparently a lot of media outlets have been trying to say that like Russian bots have been like doing searches and shit on her to make it look like she's been popular. I'm just like, oh, we gonna really do this again?
Apparently.
But yeah, it's quite clear.
I think we've traveled
pretty
far off topic.
What?
I said I think we've traveled pretty far off topic.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, around the election, Gamergate, exit credits literally took a small turn that just became this giant. It just went in a completely different direction. I don't. it just fascinates me how we go from a video where we go stand up for your medium and its right to have freedom of expression art to fucking, like, people even been pointing out that, oh, what was it? The political thing I just said, which was apparently like 2 years old or something. What was it again? The
Gamergate?
the video I mentioned when I said it's like I found a video I remember watching. Where the
Oh, about Trump.
no, politics and games. That's what it was. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Politics and games. All media politician exequets. So people have even been pointing out the hypocrisy because the video basically argues that there should be more politics in games. So it's like, well, if you're removing the things that make it political, then how? Like, it's like, so if you make a World War II game, you're making it political in the war sense of that, of the history of that. If you take it out, you're taking the politics of it out. So it's like, do you want more politics or less politics?
That's not the issue. They don't want more or less. What they want is the right politics. That's what you have to remember.
But I'm just saying, people are pointing out the hypocrisy between the two videos, though. Even though Daniel was the speaker in the politics games, I'm pretty sure he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was still speaking for it.
So it doesn't matter how much or how little you have. What matters is that it's the right side.
Oh. I'm sick of the white side. I just want to move Japan and let the two sides burn each other at this time. Just live in the neutral place that doesn't really give a fuck aside from the few SJWs who live there. For some reason. Which is kind of weird always to me. They probably go to Akihabara and have a heart attack. You know how many fucking anime waifu figurines you can just see everywhere in Akihabara? Good lord.
No.
Oh,
never been to Japan.
I know.
Don't know anything about Japan.
Oh, do you even know what Akihabara is? That's like the big anime
town in Japan.
place. That's the video game anime weeb dream of hell.
Nice.
Is the hellhole of weebs. I mean, seriously, figures, posters, anime, video games, just everything imaginable laid to the shit everywhere. Arcades, just everything. You ever go to Japan, that's the place you want to visit.
I'm never going to Japan. I do not fly. I don't fly.
Don't like flying?
Nope.
Yeah. Well, be fair, it's not very fun, but it's fast.
Yeah, it's fast. But I've done it before, and I've had the worst flight of my life, and I got off the plane and said, I'm not doing this again.
What happened?
Just horrible turbulence and very, very nasty flight, and I was just like, nope, I'm good. I'm not going anywhere that I need to fly anymore, so
I mean, I doubt I would go there often, but I would at least want one time in my life to go visit Japan and see Akihabara and the Super Potato. Maybe shake hands with Jimmy Hopper. Before he has his pro-Jared moment.
Yeah. Well, you enjoy and you tell me how it is, because I ain't going.
Well, I definitely recorded, that's for sure. It's a one-time experience, likely. Yeah. Though I'd love to do it multiple, but I don't know if I could do it multiple. I would just at least want to do it once, obviously, though. But,
right.
Yeah, we're getting way off topic. So, I'd say, is there anything else you can think of you would like to look forward to in the video or that?
No, I pretty much said, everything that came to my mind. Like I said, I think that Modern Warfare level in the airport is a prime example that we are not desensitized to it, and I think that if you're going to make everything generic so that you don't have any Nazi conversions, then you either have to make the gameplay suffer for it, or make the story suffer for it. But either way, you can't just make everything bland and generic and think that you're going to get the same experience. The point is not whether you are a Nazi or an ally. The point is getting together and killing your friends. It doesn't matter, Nazi, ally, red, blue, that's not the point. But the very fact that they're making it into the point detracts from the fun of the game. And you cannot tell me that anybody anywhere who's ever played a Call of Duty game has said, man, we lost because we're the Nazis. No, it's we lost because the other idiot on our team has bad connection, or whatever's AFK. No one cares except these people, and it has no visual discernible impact on gameplay or political ideology after the game is over. So the fact that they're going out of their way to do this just proves that they want views, and I seriously hope that this is a troll video.
No,
but I doubt
it's not. It's reality. We live in the clown timeline. But there is one last thing I'd like to talk about. It's not related to the context of what's in the video. It's related to the reactions to it after the video. So, let me make sure I get the... So, I have no idea how to pronounce the fucking name, to be honest. It's like Zolaria? I don't know. They're the community manager for Extra Credits, and they're freelancer, social justice. I have no idea what LDS stands for. Contemporary art, video games, memes, weeb fandom. That kind of actually makes me dead alone inside even seeing that, though. But this person has been losing their mind on Twitter, and like
everyone on Twitter loses their mind.
Apparently, like in the early point of the game, the video, somebody posted a thing that showed 1.4 likes and 2.4 dislikes, and they said that didn't work out now, did it? And they, like, this is, as far as I can see, the forced reaction to this whole thing. And they said, I don't think enough people seem to understand that, one, we fully expected this to happen every time we upload a games or political video, and that, two, we love losing all the bigoted subscribers. Are you kidding me? Less bigotry is great. Dislikes or still engagement. Now, this is like so ironic to me, and this is why I asked you, do you even know what a definition of a bigot is? Like, let me get the literal definition again, so I just read literally what it is, so it's not... So I do not literally freaking mess it up. Video. Hello. No. No.
Hello.
Having technical difficulties because things. No. Okay, so being a bigot, a person who's involved towards those holding different opinions. So, I find ironic that she is losing her mind over, like, people with differing opinions. Like, there's, like, a weird irony there to me. that just, I mean, like, it's not like they even said anything lewd. They just said that didn't work out. Now it did. It's not like they said, well, fuck you, stuff your social justice down your ass and shit. You know, they didn't even say anything lewd or anything. And she just immediately goes on the bigoted lewd and shit. It's just that it's just so weird to me how people can't just fucking debate, you know? Just say something back. Just say, you know, I don't agree with your opinion on that or whatever, you know, move on. I just...
Well, it's the same as the rest of the racial discrimination, racially motivated comments, whatever. You can say anything you want against the white American male. You can call him names, you can make fun of his ethics, you can make fun of his religion or lack of religion. You can say anything you want about white men. But if you turned around and said the same thing about a black man, about a woman, about any other ethnicity or gender, whatever, oh my goodness, they would throw you out. They would block you. It's so horrible. You're a vile person. Why doesn't it apply to white men? I agree that if you're going to
I can answer that right
way,
now, because most people who are white or don't really give a crap. You know,
yeah,
you see,
because
most
most
the
white
irony
guys.
in all this is the fact that people want to, like, how to put this, because I know this is a delicate subject to people, but the thing is, by the act of, okay, let's use Anita's angle, you know, saying like you have an instance, will like say let's use the hitman thing. So there's an instance where you go like through like a strip place or that, and you could violently kill one of the strippers or something of that, you know, and obviously Anita's like, oh my goodness, how can that even be in a game where you probably kill like I don't know, probably like 200 generic guys,
Right.
you know, and you know the people are just like, remove that. You're just treating your class, your race, your sex, whatever, your culture, as just some special little thing that can't be treated like everything else. You don't want to be joked about. You don't want, and I don't remember what it called, but I do remember a long time ago, I made a video talking about female main characters, and I strictly blame these people for the lack of interesting female lead characters in Western games. How many really interesting Western female main characters can you think of?
I don't know how many girls are in the Sinran Kagura
I
games.
said Western.
Oh wait, you said Western.
See, the next question was going to be, how many can you name in Japanese titles? Because I'm willing to bet most people would know many more Japanese. If you play games, now be fair, these two questions would have to be asked to someone who plays a lot of games that are both Western and Japanese. You can't be just one exclusively. But I'm willing to bet, if for people who play both Western and Japanese games, that they would probably know way more interesting main female leads in Japanese games than fucking Western games.
I think that you could even extend that a little further. How many good characters are there in Western games versus
you don't want to ask
Japanese
me
games?
that question, because I can only tell you that the Western side's gonna be fucking pulverized.
Exactly, because Western games seem to care more about big action set pieces and games like Call of Duty.
You're my
They don't
hero.
care about story.
I'm
They
gonna
don't
make
care.
a game.
Yeah, pretty much, exactly. They don't care about story as much as they care about blood and gore and all that. Whereas Japanese games, yeah, they have action, they have blood, they have gore, but they have good, memorable characters and good, memorable stories.
But what I'm saying is, like, I feel like trying to make your gender,
Go on.
race, culture, or protected class or something
Go.
makes it obviously where you can't
Good
make
girls.
the characters interesting then. You know, some characters are interesting because they're traumatized, because their life sucked, or shit that happened. Like, it's just, it's
Yeah.
not always necessary, but it's something that can help make a character way more
But it
interesting or even relatable. Like, these people always like to bitch about not having characters to relate to. You know, how can you relate to a character who's a fucking piece of wood stuck in the ground if they literally have nothing about them at all?
Because I know a lot of people like that.
But that's pretty much the only other thing I would really have to say is just I feel like the community manager is well, doing modern PR bad. Just like most modern PR, just doing it bad. But to be fair, she hasn't blocked me yet, but I'm sure probably by tomorrow that'll happen.
Yeah, give her time.
Because I posted...
You don't.
Go ahead.
You don't have enough followers to be that important to block right away. She'll block
Maybe,
you later.
I don't know. I posted this ironic video towards someone made with the opening, where it's basically it's saying that, you know how they said you didn't choose this, wanted to become this, but now you're a Nazi. It basically does that with your opinion and saying you're now a Nazi because of your opinion, and then shows her tweet and saying, and now you're being compared to people who gathered people and murdered them. What the fuck? I all I said was irony and posted that video because it's just, well, it's to me incredibly ironic considering what it's being angry about. But I think we pretty much ran this topic into the door, though. I think we talked about most of the main points, Willie, and gave examples of things that were interesting and that.
Probably.
But in a completely long rambling of video and random political segments doing it. Damn, it's an hour and 41 minutes.
Yeah.
If you got to this point,
Oof.
please tell me the following number is 29498 in the comments, and I will award you one Steam code. I'm serious. If you leave, not you, Dan. You can't do that. Besides, you don't even
You
do
haven't
PC
even put my name on the.
so.
I have some of them. I told you I have some GOG games.
Yeah, but I said Steam. But anyway, you post that in the comment. I'll give you a game if you make it to the end of this. I'll give you a game. I'll give you. I got lots of Humble Bundle Steam codes. I'll give you a game if you made it to this point. That's dedication. Because I don't usually get that many people who watch something that long. Anyway, I think what's said. So you sure you have no ending thing you want to say?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay then. Thank you for watching. Sorry it was a long ass ramble, but you know that's what we do usually on this channel. Lots of rambling, blambling, and you know this is just drama. Not to try and hold off drama though. I'm a long time viewer. Like, again, I can't prove it, but I mean, I think Dan, like before we did this, I called Dan, and I feel like I was legit upset because I don't like seeing a show I really loved this channel, and I'm just watching it decay and become a complete piece of shit, literally. Like it's
Well, par for the platform, really.
it's just really hard. It's just Jew Wario and every other fucking Jew Wario, Spoonie, Pojo. It's just the same shit again. Just watching someone else just fucking destroy themselves. Anyway, I'll let that be the end of the recording. Toodaloos. Praise the sun. Try to stay positive. Don't harm yourself. And hope you had a good 4th of July. This is your moment to say anything before I cancel it, Dan. Amen.
See y'all later.